For this video, I've used Car and Driver's top 25 bestsellers in the United States and ran leases on all of them using April's rates and residuals. Just some quick disclaimers though before I start. All these numbers are for April 2024 and all are estimates that should expire at the end of this month. They're for 2024 model year vehicles unless I say otherwise. Also, the deals are assuming 36 months and 12,000 miles a year, again, unless I say otherwise. These deals are assuming that you're covering your dealer and state fees due at start and won't include your state sales tax in the payment. These numbers are assuming you've got a 720 FICO score. And lastly, you guys, I'm just some guy on YouTube at the end of the day. Please always do a bit of research to verify accuracy of these estimates and even try to do better. Diving right in, starting off at number 25, the Ford Escape. Inventory now up to 17,700 units, up from 16,000 last month, with 4,500 of those as being active all-wheel drive. I said the program was terrible last month, and it got worse this month, seeing a 2% residual drop. However, the money factor, or APR, did go down a tiny bit. At invoice, you'd land at a payment at around $458 and about $548 if you ended up getting it at MSRP. How do I know invoice cost, inventory levels, lease programs? It's all in my cheat sheet, which you'll find by clicking the link in the description below. The cheat sheet is going to tell you all the resources that I use. $25, you'd be kind of nuts not to get it. At number 24 is the Subaru Forester. Inventory took a huge dip from last month, dropping to nearly 16,000 units from 20,000. They're gearing up for the 2025. The most popular, though, the limited all-wheel drive, has about 4,200 in stock. On a $36,000 MSRP, the dealer's invoice price would probably be around $34,000. And since the program has not changed since last month, the payment is the same as last month, landing at a range between $413 at invoice to $476 at MSRP. At number 23 is the Mazda CX-5. Huge increases for Mazda in terms of inventory. We're up to 24,000 units and 8,000 of those are select all-wheel drive. No major changes to the lease program this month, and assuming we got it at invoice, we're talking about $401, and at full MSRP, we'd be talking about $420. At number 22 is the Jeep Wrangler. Jeep had tons of cars last month and has even more now, seeing about 18,800 Wrangler gas models at dealers across the US. Some Wranglers lease out a bit better than others depending on the amount of equipment with higher residuals than others, but that doesn't mean cheaper. That just means less depreciation. On this one in particular, we've got $595 if you got it at invoice and $633 at MSRP. I do want to reiterate though, I said this last month to shoot for the low fives for a great Wrangler deal, and that's more than possible with the amount of supply that we have. At number 21 is the Subaru Crosstrek. We're now up to 15,000 Crosstreks at the moment, with more limiteds than premiums. However, we do have about 3,500 of them as being premium all-wheel drive, which we're using here. The program has not changed since last month, but your ability to negotiate sure has. We're talking $348 at invoice and $400 at MSRP. At number 20 is the Subaru Outback. We went from 13,000 last month to now 19,000 units. Wow. 4,400 limited all-wheel drive, so we'll use one to calculate this lease. Although inventory went up drastically, the lease program did not change. At invoice, we're at $468, and at MSRP, we're at $540. At number 19 is the Toyota Highlander. Sorry, you guys. Highlander situation actually got worse since last month, with inventory dipping down to 4,300 units, of which 1,100 are XLE all-wheel drives. The residual went up, and the money factor went down, which is great because at invoice, you'd be looking at around $508, and at MSRP, you'd be talking about $622. At number 18 is the Ford Explorer. Massive increases in inventory with almost 34,000 Explorers in the country right now, 11,500 of which are XLT all-wheel drives. Ford dropped the APR 1 point, but the residual also dropped 1 point with it. At invoice, you're at $606, and at MSRP, you're at $660. Push to get into the 500s on the Explorer 100%. At number 17 is the Honda Accord. Accord inventory is slightly up from last month, but nearly 3/4 of the 9,900 Accords we have are the EX. The other 25% is LX inventory. The program has not changed, and we're still talking about $333 at invoice and $380 at MSRP. At number 16 is the Civic. Civic inventory has dropped slightly since last month, and the program only changed slightly, giving the residual a slight increase to 64%, which translated to slight decreases in payment, seeing $306 at invoice and $352 at full MSRP. At number 15, the Hyundai Tucson. Happy to say inventory went up on the Tucson by a couple thousand units. On the SEL all-wheel drive we've got picked out, the lease program is pretty mediocre at 63% and a 0.00255 money factor, but big lease cash available this month, dropping the payment range down to $347 at invoice and $403 at full MSRP. At number 14 is the Chevy Equinox. Equinox inventory is down slightly this month, but the top seller, the LT, has more units now, so I guess that's a good thing if you're looking for the LT. No change to the program, keeping the payment at $391 at invoice and at $434 at MSRP. At number 13, the Toyota Corolla. Razor thin inventory this month with less than 5,000 units and just under 3,000 are LEs. Because of a slight decrease in the money factor, at invoice $302 is very much possible and $352 at full MSRP. At number 12 is the Tesla Model 3. Big news. Pay attention. Just kidding. Check the website. I've got nothing here. At number 11 is the Toyota Tacoma. Wow. Tacoma inventory has nearly doubled since last month. Amazing. We've got 8,000 units nationally, and about 2,400 of those are SR5s. Modest little decrease in the money factor, making the lease program not too terrible given the crazy high residual. At invoice, we're seeing a payment of $443, and at MSRP, we're talking about $542. Use the cheat sheet to find out up-to-the-minute programs on any vehicle trim and zip code you need. At number 10 is the Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is just gas, non-L inventory, you guys. Tons of L and 4xe inventory available also. Jeep is finally making a dent in their inventory. Just kidding. Inventory is now up to 17,000 gas non-L Grand Cherokees, 8,000 of which are limited four-wheel drives. The Grand Cherokee program is as clear as the color black. Right now, Stellantis and Chrysler Capital are both available banks customers can choose to lease through, not to mention the other garbage can of credit unions. Jeep dealers typically outsource their leases to as well. However, the lease incentive is where it gets kind of murky. There's tons of rebates available that would make the payment go down easily into the 500s without a discount being given by the dealer. Literally just rebates coming from the factory will discount the hell out of this Jeep. If you pair it with a big discount on the Grand Cherokee, it's more than possible to get it into the 400 range. At full MSRP, shoot for $633, and at invoice about $600. However, my recommendation, what I would personally do, is go out and get this thing for about $450. At number 9 is the Nissan Rogue. Nissan is choking on a surfeit. Surfeit, a noun meaning an excessive amount of something. On a surfeit of inventory. 18,000 units, up from 8,000 last month. Of those 18,000, more than 10,000 are SVs. The lease residual went up since last month to 68%, and the money factor stayed the same at 0.00331, which dropped the payment to $423 at invoice and $480 at full MSRP. At number 8 is the Toyota Camry. No major changes on the Camry since last month, except for a slight drop in the money factor, helping buyers get a payment of $359 if they got it at invoice and $432 if they got it at MSRP. At number 7, the GMC Sierra with a big jump up to 36,500 units from 30,000 last month. Massive drop in residual though, from 69% to 63% and no change in the money factor. This is not going to be pretty though. At invoice, we're talking $662 and at MSRP, we're talking $763. That's like $100 increase over last month. At number 6, the Honda CR-V. Tons of CR-Vs, man. Tons of them. The surfeit of CR-Vs, both gas and hybrids. On the EXL all-wheel drive, the program saw no change from last month, meaning at invoice, we're at $419, and at MSRP, we're at $490. The increase in inventory, though, will increase your chances of getting it at invoice. At number 5, the Model Y. I have way too much to tell you here. Pay attention. You paying attention? Good. I don't have anything to tell you. Check their website. At number 4 is the Toyota RAV4, America's favorite SUV. Inventory is down on RAV4s. You guys, 6,100 units total, and 1,500 of those are XLE all-wheel drives. The lease program saw a fat drop in the money factor, though. At invoice, we're at $459, and at MSRP, we're at $528. The big three, you guys. At number 3 is the Ram 1500. We are now at 35,000 Ram 1500s, with 6,800 being Laramies. Stellantis is offering the best program on the Ram 1500 right now, with a 55% residual and a 0.00047 money factor, as well as some fat bonus cash, dragging this payment down to $629 at invoice and $748 at MSRP. A much cheaper Bighorn would probably be in the 400s, no problem. At number 2, the Chevy Silverado. What are they gonna do with all these Silverados? A pile of 72,000 across the US. Silverado programs did not change except for a bit of a boost in incentives, dropping payments down to $559 and $647 at MSRP. At number 1, the Ford F-150. Wow, so Ford actually made a huge dent this month in inventory levels, dropping their 2024 inventory down about 10,000 units. We're at 29,000 2024s at the moment, 12,000 of which are XLTs. Big change on the F-150 though, seeing a boost to 65% on the residual, but also a huge increase in the money factor, raising it to 4.42%. At invoice, we're seeing payments at $660 and at MSRP about $747. You guys, make sure you check out the cheat sheet because it's going to help you land the very best deal at all times of the year on any car that you're looking for. Access the cheat sheet by clicking here. And if you like this video, you're probably going to love this one because I'm going to talk about how I would negotiate a car as a broker. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.